Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Purna. In today's video, we are going to talk about Redux with React. If you are a front-end developer, you are probably familiar with React. It's a popular JavaScript library for building user interface. Redux is a state management library that helps you to manage the state of your applications. When you use Redux with React, it provides a powerful way to manage the data in your applications. Here is the agenda for the session today. What is Redux? Understanding the key concept of Redux store, actions, and reducer. Exploring how Redux can be integrated with React. Live code example of using Redux with React. What is Redux? Redux is a JavaScript state management library or tool that helps developers to manage the data in memory that an application needs to run. It keeps track of the data in one central place called store. Developers can update the data in the store by sending messages called actions. Those actions describe what should happen to the data. Then Redux makes sure that every part of the application that need to know about the data is updated with the latest information. This makes it easier to build complex applications and help developers to avoid bugs. At the core of Redux, here are the important concepts like store, actions, reducer, and dispatcher that helps to Redux work. The store is a centralized place that holds the application data. Actions are messages that describe how the data in the store should change. Reducers change the state of the store based on the actions, and the dispatchers send the actions to the store. If you see the image here, the UI trigger the deposit event for $10, and the deposit actions dispatch to the reducer. And the reducer added $10 to the current state of balance, and the updated balance reflect in UI. Let's take a closer look to the key concept of Redux, the store, actions, and the reducer. The store is a centralized place that holds the data of your application. It's like a database, but it's in memory and accessible to all parts of your applications. And you can think of the store as a JavaScript object that holds all the application's data. Actions are messages that describe what should happen to the data in the store, and they are plain JavaScript objects that have a type properties which describe the type of actions being taken and any data necessary to carry out to the action. For example, an actions might be add new item, and add data could be the details of the new item. Reducer are the functions that take the current state of the store and then actions and return a new state. They are the one responsible for changing the state of the store in response to actions, and reducer are pure functions, meaning they don't modify the current state but instead return a new copy of the state that reflect the changes from the actions. Together, the store, actions, and reducer create a predictable and scalable way to manage the data in your application. React is a popular JavaScript library for building user interface. When we use React with Redux, it's offers a powerful way to manage the state of your applications. To use Redux with React, we first create a store to hold the application's data. Then you wrap your app in the store using the provider component from your React Redux library. This makes the store available to all components in your app. Next, you define actions and reducer for your applications. Action describes what changes should be made to the data in the store, while reducer defines how those changes should be made. Finally, you use connect function from React Redux library to link specific component to the store. This enables your component to access the data in the store and dispatch actions to modify the data. In order to use Redux with React, we need to install these necessary packages, Redux and React Redux, and another new package introduced recently, Redux Toolkit, that is the new way to manage Redux. Here we will give a practical example of using Redux with React application. Basically, we will build a simple account summary page where we can deposit and withdraw the amount. I will get you through the step-by-step code walkthrough for how to set up Redux with React. Then we will demonstrate how to use actions and reducers to manage application state in the example applications. Before going to code walkthrough, let's understand at high level how it works. We will create a store to hold the user account balance data. Then we'll define deposit and withdraw actions that add or subtract a value from the balance. Then we need to use reducer to handle these actions and update the balance in the store. We'll create two components for deposit and withdraw that use connect to access the store and dispatch the appropriate actions when a user submits a form. Then the balance get updated in the store and the components automatically re-rendered to show the new balance in the screen. Let's go to the Visual Studio Code to explore the example to use Redux in React. Before I explain you the code, I just want to show you the demo app. Here you can see, right? If you see this account summary page, we have three components used here: balance component, then deposit amount and withdraw amount. So by default, the balance is $1,000 and I want to deposit $500. So let's click the deposit. Here you can see like $1,500 in my current balance. Now I will withdraw some amount, $200. So 200 minus from my 1500 balance, now it is 1300. So now let's get into the code and see how things have been implemented. Just for the clarity, I have already written this code. If I will write the code on live sessions, probably it takes a lot of time. I thought of writing that code first and I'll explain you how these things has been implemented. Let's get into the Visual Studio Code. So guys, before I explain each part of this important concept of Redux, just see the folder structure. Here I have something Redux example and here I have three specific folder actions: reducer and store. For the starting point is like you need to define a store. If you see this index.js file in store folder, right? So it's basically creating a store and exporting it. To create a store, we need to use create store function from Redux package that expect a reducer. So here we are using account reducer and we are passing account reducer as a parameter to create store. And if you see this, why the strike is coming, because this particular create store is depreciated now, and Redux is recommending to use configure store from the Redux.js/toolkit package. So this is a new way to writing the Redux things in React. So how can you use that Redux toolkit? So basically you need to install the package Redux.js/toolkit, and you have to import something called configure store from your Redux.js toolkit, and in this configure store you have to pass a reducer. Here it's given a mechanism to pass multiple reducer, right? So this account is a property under the reducer, and if you want to add one more reducer like to do reducer something, you can pass here. So basically it is combining the reducer. So if you use this React.js toolkit package, it provides a set of utilities and abstraction to simplify the Redux development process. So let's undo it. And why I am using the traditional Redux package, because this is better to explain each part of the core concept, and it will be helpful for the beginners level to understand how Redux works. So this is one reducer. So we have directly passed with create store as a parameter, right? So let's say if you have multiple reducer, then what to do? In the real world application, you will have n number of reducer, right? So in case of multiple reducer, so you have to combine it and pass it to the create store. So I have a code snippet for that as well. How can you use that combined reducer? So basically we have to use this combined reducer function from Redux package. If you see this code snippet, right, basically I am calling this combined reducer by passing multiple reducer, and this account and to dos, these are like alias, or you can say like the parameter inside the state object, which is holding different reducers, right? So we have account reducer, we pass it. Let's say if you want to add one more reducer, to do reducer, then we can pass through this. Basically this will produce a state object where account and to dos will be the parameters. And if you want to consume the state, then you can consume like this, right? State dot to dos, basically to access the to dos reducers. Here we learn how to create store. Now let's see how the actions looks like, right? So in our previous session already we have discussed about actions and reducer. This is basically a action generator, or you can say like action creator. So basically it has two functions like deposit money and withdraw money. So if you see this is returning a actions, and actions content like type and the type of operations that you are doing, and the payload is the data. So in the deposit types, basically we are passing amount as the payload, and withdraw type also we are passing amount as payload, because we just want to add the amount or subtract the amount from the actual balance. And let's go to the reducer here. Reducer basically takes two parameters, state and action, and it return a new state. Here the initial state, the balance is 1000 that I already told you, and the actions here like deposit action or withdraw action. So based on the actions, we are adding the amount to the balance or subtracting the amount from the balance using deposit and withdraw actions. And later we are exporting the reducer. And now we define the store, we define the actions, and we define the reducer. If you see here the index.js file in Redux example folder, we are using provider component. It's a special component provided by React Redux package that allow React to access the Redux store. You should wrap the entire application under this provider component, and the provider component has an attribute store where we are passing the account store. So this store will be available all the child of this providers. Okay. So let's go to the account summary now. So if you see the folder structure here, right? So this is my index.js file. Basically this is container for my account summary, and I have three components like balance info, deposit amount, and withdraw amount. And I have a styles also. For some basic styling I have used this. So in the balance info, what exactly I am doing, right? So I am using connect. So I have already explained in the theory that connect is basically used to connect the component with Redux. So through this connect we can fetch the state from the store, or we can dispatch actions to update the data in the store. If you see this code here, right? So I'm using the map state to prop functions that map the balance from the store to the components prop. We use connect functions to connect the component with the Redux store, and this connect functions take two parameters that map state to props or dispatch props to state. So like that we can use to connect the component data with Redux. So here if you see, the balance is the property that is available. So I am using this balance properties, and this balance prop is exactly reflecting the balance in my component. Here in the deposit amount component, right, here also I am using the connect, and the additional thing here I am doing, I am using this action creator, or you can say like the deposit money functions from the action, basically to deposit the money. So if you see the code here, I have a text box. This text box is connected with a state called amount, and it has a set amount setter method. I have a button that performs the deposit actions, and if I click on this button, it is calling the handle deposit, and it also have a conditional property disable. Unless and until you enter some values in the amount, it will not be enabled to click. So in this handle deposit functions, basically I am taking this amount, and initially it is in the string format, so then I am converting into number, and I am calling this deposit. So what is this deposit? Deposit is a function to dispatch the action basically, right? So if you see this particular map dispatch to state, right? So this function used to map the deposit money actions to the component, and when we call this particular deposit, this is a name of the functions that is used as a prop basically. So you can give any name, right? And when you click on this function, it will dispatch these actions, and whatever the amount that you are passing to this function. Here I am calling this deposit functions from the props by passing a amount. So if you want to use map dispatch prop without a map state prop, then just use null for the first argument. So it takes two arguments, right? So if you, in the previous component we saw, as it is a first argument as fetching the state to the prop, so we don't need to pass the second argument. But if you are using the dispatch argument, then you have to pass the first argument as null. If you want to use a single dispatch argument, then we are passing the deposit amount component to just make a connectivity between Redux and your component. Similarly, if you go to this withdraw amount, right? So here also I'm using this connect and withdraw money action, and in this connect basically I have used the map dispatch to prop, and here I'm using withdraw money actions, and that is referred to one of the local functions that withdraw, which is going to supply to the properties. In this withdraw that I am calling in handle withdraw click event and passing the amount. So basically when we withdraw the money from the actual balance, so we are then again setting up the amount as null. So and rest of the things are same. So this is how we can use React with Redux. Let's explore this output of the example one more time. So as you saw in the code, right, we have used three components for balance, deposit and withdraw. In balance, basically we are fetching the data from the store and showing that actual balance. And in case of deposit and withdraw, we are dispatching actions like deposit actions and withdraw actions to perform the add money or subtract money respectively. So let me add some money here, $150 to my actual balance. So you can see, right, $1,150 already updated. And let me subtract some amount or withdraw some amount. So I have given $50 here. So 1150 minus 50 equal to $1,100. So this is how we can use Redux in React. And also I told you that a create store particular function is deprecated in Redux library, so we can use a React.js toolkit also. And if you want to use combine reducer, that you can use multiple reducer as well. In conclusion, Redux with React is a powerful combination that can help you to build complex applications with ease. It provides a reliable way to manage your application state, which makes it easier to develop and maintain your code in a long run. And if you are looking to build a large scale applications with React, I will highly recommend it giving Redux a try. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment and share. Please subscribe my channel.